Have played all right, but been beaten. So we're expecting a reaction just for that. Obviously, as well, the fact that Fernandinho is back, you know, it is a big boost. A lot's been made of the fact that he'd been missing. You know, the stats for him in the team and their win ratio is much bigger. But anyway, here comes Bernardo. I just think they have too many guns. Here's Raheem Sterling into the box.
Yeah, chance now from the right-hand side as the ball is fired in there. Mahrez gets a deflection and it will be a corner kick to Manchester City inside the first 90 seconds. So the visitors already trying to get a bit of dominance early on. Bernardo had so much space there running in from midfield, and there wasn't too much marking going on with Mahrez there either. But now Manchester City getting players into the box as well. Alex McCarthy just trying to organise his defence. There aren't too many players in the box in all fairness, but you'd imagine there'll be a few running in at the last second as this ball is going to be an in-swinger from David Silva. Good header away at the edge of the 6-yard box. I think it was the young man Kane Ramsey who got the header. 18-year-old making his debut this afternoon in the right back role. The ball is now back in midfield. That's a really poor pass though from Danilo.
He's a weak link. He is a weak link, Danilo. I mean, you know, we're talking about why they're not succeeding. And I just don't think he's good enough, quite frankly. They've a problem with their full-backs, haven't they? Where Zinchenko's playing today because Delph got a red card last time out. You know, without Mendy, you know, they're struggling with the full-backs, and it's another reason why they're not being quite as fluent as we've seen. But they've got enough guns today, and plus the fact they're up against some young kid today. I mean, Kane Ramsey could be anything, couldn't he? But one thing we know is he's dead young. He
is, and it's a big game for him. But of course, if he gets put under pressure, then City may get some joy out of that as well. Zinchenko on the other side. So two, you could say, second-string fullbacks for City this afternoon. But they go on the attack now with Raheem Sterling breaking into the box. There's no offside flag. There is an offside flag. A bit of a delay in the flag going up. But Raheem Sterling was adjudged to have been offside. This is one of two games that has kicked off at 2:15. The Burnley-West Ham game is also available on our service. That game is also goalless in the early stages. Ooh, I'm not even sure if it was Sterling that was offside, or it might have been... it
was David Silva at the start of the move, yeah. Because he came from offside just to flick it round the corner. Raheem Sterling might have been offside as well. Tough decisions to make because he's running at pace, and the assistant, he's over on the near side. He's a long way away from it, but I think it's a good shout out from him.
It is. I mean, we saw in the earlier game today, of course, we saw two brilliant goals from Giroud, both of them marginally offside. They both were the correct decision, but it really was unfortunate for Giroud, who certainly would have hoped that at least one of those could have been given as a goal. But Højbjerg now doing well to muscle Mahrez off the ball. Then a clearance into midfield is headed forward by Laporte, and here is Aguero now at the edge of the area, skipping away from Romeo. Then he feeds the ball out towards the right-hand side. On the goal line here is Bernardo Silva, just cuts back, and a left-footed cross into the box, which is headed away by Jack Stevens, and then hooked away. Gets a bit more distance on it there, Ward-Prowse, but already we're getting a bit of a flavour of what this game might be like, John.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Arsenal has done quite well, but in their last game there were just signs that, you know, the bubble has burst already kind of thing. You know, they reverted back to type. They were really poor last time. You know, he'd had that back three. I thought to some degree that had worked out quite well, but I'm surprised he's not doing it today. This back four been absolutely dominated already.
Oh dear, Jack Stevens loses the ball. This is going to be 1-0 to City. Surely saved by McCarthy, and Aguero can't quite get on the rebound. But that was poor from Jack Stevens. He should have been able to shepherd that ball away. He was hassled by Sterling right on the goal line. He was able to lay it off, and you really felt as though City were going to take the lead there.
Should have taken the lead there. I mean, it's great play by Raheem Sterling. He doesn't give up, and eventually nicks the ball. And then you just think for Bernardo Silva it would have been simpler or easier to score. I think it was him, was it? Or David Silva. Yeah. But yeah, great opportunity there. Should have been 1-0. But listen, we're 5 minutes in, and City are all over Southampton like a cheap suit here. You know, I can't see anything other than a victory for them. But Raheem Sterling just goes down. He's just taking a knock.
Yeah, I think it was someone just jumped on top of him there as he was trying to keep the ball in play. I think it was a header that's gone out. I'm not too sure what the referee Paul Tierney has given there. It was actually it wasn't. It was a bit of a strong challenge there.
He just got booted, didn't he? I mean, Højbjerg, terrible challenge from him. Just boots him. I'm not sure the referee saw that really.
No, I think if he did, then he'd certainly be having a word with Pierre Højbjerg there. Guardiola, of course, under pressure, his side losing 2 games on the trot. First of all to Palace last week at home last Saturday, and then losing away to Leicester in midweek. but Man City are the top goal scorers in the first 15 minutes of games. They've got 9 in the first 15 minutes. The next side, Arsenal, have 5, so City do like to get things started early.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they can score any time, can't they? They've set the stall out, they're on the front foot, and I don't think Southampton quite know what they're doing, really. Their formation's a bit hit and miss. I'm not sure 4 at the back, it's quite enough for the attacking talent that Man City have got, particularly if they're not really showing any kind of goal forward. It's a big struggle for Saints so far.
It has, as Lamina now tries to feed the ball out wide, but he was under pressure, so he goes back in towards Jack Stevens. His clearance goes straight to Danilo, though, so City back in possession on the halfway line. That is a clumsy challenge there from Mario Lamina, just clipping the heels there of Riyad Mahrez. Free kick to Man City. They go back in towards their own half. Here is Kompany and Laporte. He just goes out towards Zinchenko. And now it's Sterling on the left-hand side. Zinchenko under pressure, just playing it back in towards Laporte, and Southampton doing what they can to press a little bit at least, just to hurry Man City along. Fernandinho is back, of course, for Man City, which is big news for them, because he is a player that they really do miss when he's not in that defensive hole. But the ball now in Southampton possession with Matt Targett. Goes back to Bednarek, and then Bednarek plays it back in towards McCarthy. Goalkeeper under a bit of pressure there from Aguero, but he sends a long ball down the middle. Zinchenko just misses the header. The loose ball should be with Ward-Prowse, and he leaves it here for Højbjerg. Højbjerg plays it back into Romeu on the halfway line now. Romeu with the switch ball out towards the left-hand side. And here is Matt Targett now, trying to play an early ball in towards Austin, but that's headed away by Kompany. And now Fernandinho sending a ball up to Aguero. Good control. A first touch pass from Aguero towards Bernardo Silva. He can now move forward, and he feeds David Silva through the middle now out towards the right-hand side here for Riyad Mahrez. Breaking into the penalty area. Mahrez just leaves it now for Bernardo, and he just chips it back in towards Danilo. City now back in possession on the halfway line, but Southampton struggled. They had possession for a good minute or two there, the Saints, but they couldn't really go forward with it. Zinchenko's ball now wasn't the best, and this could be a chance now for Southampton to break out. Højbjerg with the ball plays it into the middle, over the top now for Milanusi for Charlie Austin. There's no offside flag, and Austin can't control it at the edge of the area, and that is a huge chance, and Charlie Austin's got to do better there.
If he had a left foot, they would have scored. I mean, and the ball's rolled through to him. We're waiting for the flag to go, but never happened. He might have been offside. But the thing is, then he's all right foot, trying to get control onto that right foot, when really in the inside left slot he should be hitting it with his left foot, taking that shot on early. But great opportunity there, but just missed control from Austin. Yeah,
could have done a little bit better there, Charlie Austin, that's for sure. City in the meantime have pushed forward now. Danilo spreading the play from right to left to Zinchenko. He was under pressure from Højbjerg, but he still gets the ball to Sterling. He's under pressure from Kane Ramsey, so the ball goes back towards the halfway line for Aymeric Laporte, and now it's Raheem Sterling again going down the left-hand side. Plays it back towards Zinchenko. And on the halfway line, it's Vincent Kompany goes out towards the right-hand side here for Bernardo Silva. Silva moving forward, plays a 1-2 with Riyad Mahrez. Now Bernardo Silva breaks into the box. It's got to be 1-0 now, and it is. It's played across towards the edge of the 6-yard box. David Silva unmarked, and he's able to just guide that ball in towards the far post. And Man City, after a very bright start, have taken the lead.
Yeah, it was coming, wasn't it? I mean, we're only 10 minutes in. How many goals the first 15 minutes of play?
It's now 10.
Yeah, 10. It's a lot, isn't it? An easy goal in the end.
And so a perfect start for Manchester City at St Mary's. They've been putting pressure on Southampton since the first minute, and it's taken 9 minutes for them to take the lead. It's a lovely 1-2 between Mahrez and Bernardo Silva down the right-hand side, and then Bernardo Silva just lays a ball across towards the edge of the 6-yard box. David Silva is there unmarked, and he's able to just guide that ball past McCarthy, actually pretty much through the middle of the goal. But it was a very good move from Manchester City, who started well in this game. Southampton just a little bit distraught at the start of this game, unable to get any kind of real possession, and it is Manchester City who take the lead. Southampton 0, Manchester City 1.
Matt Targett fell asleep there. Just an easy give and go. On that right hand side they've got Bernardo and Riyad Mahrez, two great players in there. They just combine beautifully. The ball into the box was a cracker as well. There's no point just stood in front of your keeper there. You've got to sort of cut out all the angles if you want for that cutback, but they never did that. Stevens, I think, at fault, but we haven't seen much of Jack Stevens recently. He's ring rusty, and before that we saw Austin, who's got to do better. They had one gilt-edged opportunity and he couldn't even control it to get his shot away. But there's been a couple of times now where virtually Man City could almost walk the ball into the back of the net, and that was one of them, and it was scored. David Silva missed his early opportunity, or it was saved by the keeper, but that was about as clear cut as the goal that he's just scored.
It certainly was, and now really Southampton with it all to do. And we say they needed to try and get a good start in this game, the home side, but now having conceded so early, they are going to have to try and be a little bit more expansive, and you just imagine that City are going to sense that, and they're going to try and get even further forward. And here come Southampton now with a ball down the right-hand side. Ward-Prowse trying to control it. There's a man down on the halfway line, and the referee took a little time to make that decision there, Paul Tierney. It is Ward-Prowse who's gone down on the halfway line. David Silva certainly unimpressed with that decision, and probably more annoyed about the fact that it took so long as Højbjerg laid this ball back. Is there a foul there from David Silva?
No.
Not a chance.
No, he wins the ball, and Ward-Prowse falls out. He just slips over there, Ward-Prowse, and then he's left looking, thinking, well, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. David Silva won the ball, Ward-Prowse fell over, and Man City were on the lightning counter-attack there, but a poor decision from the ref.
It was, and 12 minutes gone now. Free kick to Southampton on the halfway line, which shouldn't have really been given to them at all. It's Ward-Prowse's ball towards the edge of the area. Good header away by Zinchenko. Aguero now back in his own half, heads it down towards Mahrez, and here is Danilo now on the right-hand side. He can start a move now for Manchester City. Just plays it back in towards Fernandinho. And now Mahrez to Danilo. Plays it back in towards Kompany. It's a big game this for Man City. If they can win and just reduce that deficit to Liverpool, and then go on to beat Liverpool on the Thursday, then we'll start January with City only 4 points behind, so it makes it interesting.
I mean, they've got to win it, but there's another feature of it that, if they win it in style, the goal difference is now slanted in Liverpool's favour, but only by about 3 goals. So if they get a comprehensive victory here, it could end up that goal difference being like a point.
It could. Well, City know all about that. Of course, they've won the Premier League on goal difference before, so they know all about how important it is. And with Liverpool's almost faultless defence, it really is incredible. 7 goals, I think, conceded in 20 games from Jurgen Klopp's side. It's less than a goal every 2 games. That is championship-winning defending, let's be honest. So City need to try and at least match them for goal scoring. That was a strong challenge from Jack Stevens on David Silva, and the referee does give a free kick there to Manchester City. Aguero just asking the question about a potential booking as well for the Southampton number 5. And well, it goes in quite high. He's going for the ball, but I suppose it's maybe just a little bit. Free kick's probably just about enough there.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going for the same ball. Both feet are at the same height. He's just unlucky. David Silva probably kicks the boot of Stevens, and that hurts, obviously. But I'm not sure even that necessarily makes it a free kick. But you see a player going down screaming, and you think, I better do something.
You're absolutely right. It wasn't given as a free kick. It was just a throw on to Man City after all of that. We just had a little break in play to make sure that David Silva was all right. But City sent the throw on back to the halfway line. Now they're off down the right hand side. That's a poor ball from
Danilo again. He's given it away twice now. That's not in keeping with the team.
No, it's not. There was a channel there to pick Mahrez out as well. He had a lot of space to run into, but where Danilo sent that ball, there was no chance.
The thing is that he's keeping Kyle Walker on the bench. Kyle Walker's there. I think he's rubbish going forward as well. So definite weak links in the fullbacks that they've got.
Yeah, it's almost like just as Liverpool have sort of polished off and sort of finalised their defence, City's is starting to crumble a little bit, and Guardiola may be looking for some sort of strengthening in January. But Southampton now have come away with the ball, and Højbjerg feeds it out towards the right-hand side for Ward-Prowse. He's under pressure, so he goes back in towards Ramsey. Ramsey under pressure as well from Aguero, has to use Ward-Prowse and then go all the way back towards Alex McCarthy. Saints goalkeeper then thunders a long ball straight down the middle. So headed up in the air. I think that was Elanusi with the touch, and then Lamina trying to get the ball off Fernandinho, and it doesn't get the ball off. Fernandinho trips the Brazilian, and it will be a free kick on the halfway line.
Do you know those who are thinking, well, Southampton got a sneaky chance? I seem to remember that they scored first against Palace and scored first against Leicester and lost both games.
They did, yeah.
Man City.
And so I don't even want to tell you what the double would have paid if you'd have backed them at that stage. I do believe that they were that Palace were 168-1 in play when they conceded that early goal against Man City. They went on to win. So to say if you backed that way, I'm sure you had a very Merry Christmas. But in the meantime, here comes City now down the left-hand side. Decent challenge there from Ramsey to put it out of play, and it will be a throw on to the visitors, who Southampton are struggling to get out of their own half. They've not really left their own half since they conceded that goal around 5 minutes ago. And now the ball going back towards Vincent Kompany on the halfway line. Just goes out towards Bernardo Silva. Silva under a bit of pressure there, goes short to Mahrez, back to Danilo, and he goes back in towards Aymeric Laporte. Tries a long, lofty ball through midfield there, but that one's headed away by Matt Target. The ball comes back to Bernardo Silva, though. He goes out to Mahrez. Mahrez just gets there ahead of Bednarek, and then he goes back in towards Fernandinho. Not a good ball from him, though. That one is easily headed away by Højbjerg. But any loose ball is dropping straight to a Man City player as Bernardo tries to go down the right-hand side with Mahrez. That's the combination that gave City their first goal. Lovely back heel from Riyad Mahrez to get in Bernardo Silva, but he's been hounded there by Romeu, so he's got to go back in towards Danilo now. Danilo just plays it short towards David Silva. He lost his balance, but he still kept the ball, and then he plays it back towards Fernandinho. City starting to really motor now as Zinchenko goes down the left-hand side. Oh, goodness me, commentator's curse. Poor touch there from Sterling, goes out for a throw.
Yeah, exactly that. You did curse Raheem Sterling, but you've always got to keep your eye on the ball. He was thinking about what he was going to do next. Some lovely play by Riyad Mahrez, and, you know, I feel thrilled for him. He was brilliant, of course, at Leicester. Burnley have scored against West Ham.
They have, yeah.
Wood with a goal there. Yeah, I mean, he was brilliant at Leicester. But I thought he sort of hung on and was quite honourable, waiting for the right move. And when he's got it, I just think he's been a big boost to Man City. They bring him on. He always seems to play well. He plays well with good players, and you know he had a big part in the first goal. We've seen nice little touches from him. He's certainly up for this game today.
He certainly is, and City need to be up for it. Southampton also need to be up for having conceded that early goal. And long clearance now from goalkeeper Ederson, goes straight towards McCarthy, so he can start from his own penalty area now. Just rolls the ball to Jack Stevens, but there's 4 or 5 City players still in attacking positions, you could say, near the Southampton penalty area, so they haven't got much time on the ball at all, and Stevens has just given it away. And this is a great chance now for Aguero. Good challenge from Stevens to try and recover, and a very strong challenge from Romeu, but he does get the ball eventually away from his own penalty area. Good skills there from Lamina, who tries to skip past Company before he is brought down, though, and it will be a free kick to Southampton just inside the centre circle.
Bit rusty there, wasn't he, Company? But he's always done that. I think he had to do that as well. I mean, there when the ball was given away, though, for City, I'm thinking, well, here we go, it's number 2. You know, 3 gilt-edged opportunities now. One shot saved by the keeper, one hits the back of the net, and that one was just as good a chance, I felt, but they couldn't squeeze the ball through. They had overlappers all over, didn't they? But here they go, some iffy defending from Man City. Yeah,
they're all playing one-touch stuff inside their own box. Bit of pressing there from Southampton, and I'd say one bad touch and Southampton would have had a free goal there. But here come City now with Mahrez finding loads of space, moving through them, and now Riyad Mahrez gets to the edge of the area. Oh, it's just wide. Should have been 2-0 really to Manchester City. I'm not going to criticise Mahrez for not passing, because there was a chance for him to get a shot away there, but he just sends it over the bar.
Yeah, I think it's a great run from Riyad Mahrez, and I like that Aguero's taken a player away. And he said, right, well, go on then. Drive straight. He pretty much did. Matt Target's way out of the game, and he never catches up, does he? Rowing in behind Mahrez. And then Aguero just takes that player away, Stevens. He's not that far wide, but you'd be disappointed.
He will be. I mean, he started that run inside his own half, Riyad Mahrez. Really good work from him there, but the shot in the end just a little bit disappointing from the Algerian. There's a long clearance now from McCarthy up towards the halfway line, headed back by Austin, but back to a Man City player, although the pass from Mahrez to Aguero just a little bit short. And now it's with Danilo, goes towards Bernardo, and there's a real ease about the way City are moving now. They really are hunting for that second goal as a ball over the top now, which drops to Aguero after it didn't quite reach Sterling. Aguero with a chance, just been marked out of it though, pushed out of it by Stevens, and a ball coming in towards the 6-yard box, headed away by Ramsey, away for a corner.
Yeah, he's watched that well, Kyle Ramsey. 18-year-old's done a good job there because he's under massive pressure. It was a lovely ball in. And again, City absolutely all over Saints like a cheap suit.
They certainly are. Got a corner kick now to Manchester City down the right-hand side. And Company and others are now waiting inside the 6-yard box. McCarthy just trying to find a bit of space in which he can get out for this ball. Mahrez just been told by the linesman to make sure that ball is at least touching the quadrant lines there before he can take the call. Doesn't have to be in the quadrant anymore these days, does it? As long as it's making a bit of contact with the line. And here is Mahrez's ball in. It's a whip ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Charlie Austin. It's headed back towards Bernardo Silva and Mahrez on this left-hand side. David Silva now with the ball, just playing it back in towards midfield. Here is Zinchenko now, feeding a ball out towards the left-hand side for Sterling. Sterling playing it back into the Ukrainian Zinchenko, and now it's with Bernardo Silva, who plays it back towards the halfway line for Vincent Kompany, and the visitors really in complete control of this game. But just as I say, that bit of a loose ball in midfield, which has actually been won really well by Danilo. He then goes on the run and plays a 1-2 with Aguero, plays it back to Aguero. Aguero inside the box, just wanted too many touches and cleared away towards the right hand side. It's still in play though, being kept in by Riyad Mahrez. He puts the ball in towards the far post for little Raheem Sterling. With all due respect, it was always going to be a tough one for him to get on the end of that one, and it goes out for a goal kick. But that was good work from Danilo that time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they're like a hot knife through butter, aren't they, really? Again, we're looking at that Austin chance.
That was seconds before the goal as well.
It was, and then immediately after that, the break into the box and a really simple effort for David Silva.
At St Mary's, it's still Southampton 0, Manchester City 1, but really it should be 2 or 3 to Man City by now. They've had some very good chances. Riyad Mahrez went on a superb run, which started on the halfway line before he broke into the box and sent a shot just wide. There was also a good opportunity for Aguero after great work from Danilo to keep the ball alive for Man City, but Aguero just needed a little bit, wanted too much time in the box before he was eventually dispossessed. Southampton had one chance to score. It was Charlie Austin. He could have scored just seconds before City actually took the lead, but he miscontrolled it when he broke into the penalty area. It's not looking good for Ralph Hasenhüttl's side at the moment. It's Southampton 0, Manchester City 1.
Yeah, when they've conceded first in the 7 games they've played this season, they've gone on to lose all 7. Southampton, it's the opposite of showing pluck, isn't it, really? You know, Bournemouth, teams like that, Leicester have got bags of spirit. There you go, goal down. You think, well, they're not done and dusted. Like we said, you know, Man City had scored first and lost their last 2 league games, but today they look very different, I think. Riyad Mahrez fighting for the ball at the byline, just wins his side a corner kick. Mahrez is having a hell of a game. Matt Targett's sweating, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Keep tabs
I mean, that shot we saw earlier of Mahrez running away with the ball, and I mean, you could see Targett was literally pumping the arms, sprinting behind to just to try and get near him, and he still couldn't. But we've got a corner kick now, 3rd of the game for Man City. It's been taken short between Mahrez and Bernardo Silva. Mahrez on the ball again, just rolling it back to Danilo. He then floats the ball into the penalty area, which is headed away. The loose ball drops to Zinchenko. It's touched on towards Mahrez now, right-hand edge of the penalty area. He's trying to get away from Ward-Prowse, and he does, but he has to go back to keep Man City in possession. And now Zinchenko and Kompany exchanging passes on the halfway line. We've gone past the halfway point. 23 minutes gone at St Mary's. It is Southampton 0, Manchester City 1, and it will be John to take you through to half-time.
Yeah, today I thought it was going to be a question of how many. I think you know, they want to put the marker down. They want to close the difference in terms of goal difference with Liverpool. Clearly they saw, or they would have been watching Liverpool with their, you know, 3-goal salvo from Firmino and Mane and Salah all scoring. And everybody wants a part of that. Everybody wants to score goals for this City team. They're bristling with talent as well. Whoever wins the title this season, I think, you know, you look at both Liverpool and Man City and say, wow, what 2 incredible, fantastic teams. But only one of them can win the title, and if Man City want to keep in the hunt, you know, they probably need to sort the goal difference out. Danilo puts a decent ball into the box. He might get it back at the edge of the area, and he does. Ball breaks for Bernardo. Man City all over this Southampton team. Now Mahrez into the box. Was he fouled at the edge of the area? I thought he was, but the referee didn't want to give up, because if he gives it and it's inside the area, he looks like a Burke, because that would have been a penalty, but he didn't know. They're more inclined to do nothing, aren't they, referees, at that point?
They are, and then you see a penalty like the one, I think I've made the point about 3 or 4 times in commentaries this weekend. The one between Dummett and Salah from last weekend was a joke. I mean, the fact that Salah got away with that even after the FA pulled him up for diving. But here is City now with Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, just running across the edge of the area. And then, well, Firmino trying to win the ball, but City have it back. Danilo, straight ball in, and a bit of straight running there, but in the end, ball moving faster than any of these Saints runners. Bernardo gets it out of his feet. Fernandinho, he's a great ball into the box. Chance for a cutback, chance for a goal. The ball is somehow cleared. How did that not end up in the back of the net? I do not know. Aguero looks down, shakes his head. But again, I mean, it's almost like they should have killed it. We're 25 minutes in, and they should have killed the game off Man City.
Could have been 3 or 4 by now. If it was 3 or 4-0 to Man City now, we wouldn't be saying, oh, I can't believe how this has happened, because City have got one chance after another. Aguero gets the first shot, decent save by McCarthy with the chest, and then there's just that split second before a City player can get onto the rebound, which allows the Southampton player to get across and make the save. It's his 200th appearance as a senior pro this afternoon for Alex McCarthy, and although he has been at Reading and QPR before, so he's probably had games where he's been very overworked anyway, but he could be in for a long one this afternoon.
That target's down. I don't know. Just looks like right knee that they're working on for Matt Target.
Well, there's the bench for Southampton is Yoshida, Long, Ings, Armstrong, Redmond, Valerie, and goalkeeper Gunn, who I think is Brian Gunn's son, isn't he? I think it's the same goalkeeping family. But in terms of a defensive change, if Target has to go off, well, they've got Jan Valeri, haven't they? He's been playing as a sort of right-sided defender.
Right wing back he's been playing, yeah. I mean, they could make that change, but you don't want somebody wrong foot on the wrong side. Not really.
Although Valerie does have probably a yard or two of pace ahead of Target, so he might be able to keep up with those wingers a little bit better as well.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if the youngster could play left-hand side as well. That'd be asking a lot of him. Of course, my Yoshida's played in a back three. Anyway, City back on it. We're about 27 minutes in. Southampton 0, Man City 1, but you could have added a couple to that for Man City. They've been dominant. Here they go round the back again. Raheem Sterling into the box looking for a shot. Can he get a shot away? Well, is he fouled in the box there? Referee has a good long look. Again, he didn't want to make any sort of decision really, did he? But I'm not sure it wasn't a foul. Anyway, ball breaks into the middle of the park. Lamina almost got his pocket picked by Bernardo, and he's desperate. He's almost like he wants to give that ball away. Eventually back to his keeper. He takes a touch ahead of Aguero, and then that puts him under pressure. He's just got to pump that ball out. Honestly, you know, they've been absolutely thumped. It's 1-0. You know, it's a comprehensive mauling that they're getting. They're all over the shop, Southampton. And they haven't played well this season, have they? Long ball forward here for City. Doesn't work out. Ball laid back by Austin for Lamina. He's hounded in the middle of the park, but he gets the ball away to Target, who's over the halfway line. That Target then bombing on. Well, City got a soft underbelly. I think it's their defending. Zinchenko heads the ball away. Headed up in the air by David Silva. Bernardo tries to get there, but he can't. Now Ward-Prowse putting an early ball into the box. It's come off the head of Company, and then Morris just hacks that clear. They've had just a couple of spells, about a minute apiece of attacking, haven't they, Southampton? Pretty much been on the back foot. Anyway, they've got to throw in deep inside Man City territory. Target using this just to take a breather, isn't he? He's puffing and a blowing. Target then has got the throw left hand side, taking his own sweet time. Come on, Matt, let go of the ball. Eventually they make a right mess of that. El Yunusi comes and just prods that ball straight out. The Southampton fans are having to say, just think about it, lads. You know, they took a long time to do nothing with that throw in, and now City have the ball back. You know, they've had too much.
Southampton have had so little of the ball that when they do actually get it, they've got to try and use it better. That's why that Austin chance was so significant just before City took the lead as well. But even there, as you said, with a bit of possession, as Edison, goodness me, doing little tricks inside his own 6-yard box, but eventually he does get away with it.
Yeah, he does. He a bit of show and tell there, took that ball away. And now Bernardo with a decent looking ball to Raheem Sterling. He's closed down by Ward-Prowse, flicks the ball back on his inside to Zinchenko. He straightens up now, driving toward the goal. Ball into the box. Will Aguero get there? He does. It's a nice back heel from him. And then, the Ward-Prowse tries to clear it, deflects off the back as Stevens has gone out for a corner.
It has. I mean, this is really one-way traffic in terms of attack here as Danilo sent this ball back to Edison. Bit of a heavy touch from there initially as he was being closed down, but in fairness, he does recover quite well.
Yeah, who was that? It was
Højbjerg.
Yeah, in fairness to him, he got close there, didn't he? And the first touch for Ederson nearly gave him half a sniff. Anyway, corner kick for Man City. Raheem Sterling to take it. Sure, Vincent Kompany would like to mark his return to the first team with a goal, but not with a corner like that. Blocked away at the near post comfortably. Danilo back then and sweeps the ball down the line. The hands go up for offside, but that was never coming as, the chance now for El Yunusi to run that ball out. He gets lucky there with Zinchenko, comes off his heel, goes out. City swarming all over, trying to win that ball back, but the ball does go backwards. Lamina then to his back for Bednarek, and Stevens then to Romeo. In the middle of the park, he makes Matt Target go backwards, but that's a good ball for Austin. He stabs it forward this time the flag had gone up for offside.
I don't think the flags. I think Austin has stopped himself from saying, "Well, I'm not going to go for it because I'm not onside." But he was hoping that one of his teammates would close it down. They haven't bothered because they just thought that obviously they're too far away from the ball.
Yeah,
and the flag never did actually go up in the end, did it?
No, he's toying with the idea, and the flag nearly went up, but not quite. Referee gets in the way there. David Silva tackles him, and Southampton now a little bit of ball flicked on the inside, and you know El Yunusi fighting hard to win it back. He does just that, and then the ball between the two centre backs. Left-hand side there and dealt with it wonderfully well at us, and has kept his team in it. He's a good goalkeeper.
He is a good goalkeeper, yeah. He's certainly won the battle of goalkeepers at Manchester City now, with Muric, the young keeper, on the bench, and Claudio Bravo still out injured. But City just need to get control of the ball again. Southampton have just started to feel a little bit more confident. They're moving forward again now. They are just at the edge of the area. Maybe a chance for Ward-Prowse. That's great tackling back from David Silva. There is a play down in back play. Looks like Bernardo. Yeah, he's got a head injury, which he always got. More than a head injury, he's got a cut to his eye socket, a cut round his eye socket there. Let's just see what exactly has happened to Bernardo Silva. It's a superb save from Edison, by the way, when that header comes in from the near post. It was Charlie Austin with the glancing header. I wonder if it was a lot harder, I think, to score from that than it was from the chance that he completely messed up in the early stages of the game. But what's happened to Bernardo Silva here? How's he ended up getting this injury? Was that because it was hooked away, and then in the meantime... Well, they didn't show what came after, did they? We haven't seen a replay of that yet, no, but he is still down on the ground. Bernardo Silva getting some treatment, as Burnley are still one up against West Ham in the other game, which kicked off at 2:15. Yeah, do you know what? In the games where they've been beaten, City have created a stack of chances and not scored enough. Obviously, they've allowed the opposition to score on them as well, and there's been some terrific goals. I mean, Ricardo's drive for Leicester was great, wasn't it? You know, and that was beaten by the Andros Townsend volley. Oh yeah, that was a fantastic goal from Andros Townsend. As he said himself, it's probably the best goal he's ever scored in his career, and he rarely scores tap-ins, doesn't he? He normally sends long-range efforts in, so that really was a superb strike. He said after the game as well that because he knew he was going to get closed down so quick by City players, that as soon as he saw that ball dropping, he knew he had to hit it first time. Yeah, he made a good choice, didn't he? And it thumped it into the back of the net. But you know, maybe City do bring out the best in other teams like that. When you know you've got to play under Scurry, then you know perhaps you make those decisions a bit quicker. Yeah, we've got a second goal at Turf Moor as well, and it's Burnley 2, West Ham 0. That's a bit of a surprise considering the way that West Ham have been playing in the last few games, and considering how Burnley have been playing in the last few games. But a 2-0 lead for Dyche's men on 35 minutes. Massive that for them, because Burnley have got to start winning sooner or later, because they are in the bottom three. Yeah, they'd lost the plot, haven't they, a bit, Burnley. Anyway, we've had a lot of time off.
Bernardo probably have to go change his shirt or something. I think a bit of blood on that perhaps. And anyway, is it going to be a drop ball here? I think so, but Charlie Austin will give the ball back to Ederson.
And so at St Mary's, it's still Southampton 0, Manchester City 1, but Southampton have probably had their best spell of the game in the last 5 minutes or so. A corner kick from the left-hand side was headed on by Charlie Austin at the near post at a tight angle, and it forced a really good save from Ederson. Ederson almost very nearly got caught on the ball inside his own 6-yard box with a pass from Danilo. Højbjerg was bearing down, but the goalkeeper just about managed to trick his way out of it and play the ball away. At the other end, City have struggled to get into any kind of attacking possession in the last few minutes. They'll be looking to get back on and attack in the next few to try and get away from their own half, because Southampton are just starting to feel a little bit more confident. Just had a break in play as well after an eye injury for Bernardo Silva, but it's still Southampton 0, Manchester City 1.
Yeah, really, City should have buried Saints in a sea of goals in the first half, but they haven't. It's a one-goal game, and it makes it exciting, certainly for the neutral. As the ball's given away, here's a chance for Southampton into the box. There goes, shot comes in, it's in the back of the net. It's Højbjerg. He smashed it into the back of the net, and that soft underbelly for Manchester City. Well, they've been breached again. Zinchenko, I think, the guilty party, giving the ball away. Southampton were on it really quickly, but it's a great strike from Højbjerg, and all of a sudden, you know, Saints are in the game at 1 apiece, and what a strike that was. Paul, right foot, thunderbolt. All this after sloppy play from Zinchenko.
Yeah, really, City should have done a lot better there to clear their lines, and they're paying for the fact that they just couldn't capitalise on all that very good early possession they had. Zinchenko is poor there. He's got to do better. Can't just give the ball away, and it's a rifle strike there from Højbjerg to make it 1-1. And I'm not surprised that Hassan Hussel's leaping up in the air in delight, because his side should have been 3 or 4-0 down by now, but it's 1-1 with 37 minutes gone. So we have an equaliser at St Mary's. Didn't take much. Southampton have only had a 5-6 minute spell where they've looked likely to score, and in that 5 minute spell they have scored. Man City, who've been trying all these cute little passes amongst their own defenders at the back, were caught out when Zinchenko was caught on the ball by Højbjerg. He then raced into the box and smashed one, really clipped it into the top corner, giving Ederson absolutely no chance. And in a game where City probably should have had 2 or 3 goals long before Southampton even got close to an equaliser, it is now 1-1, and Guardiola's men have to start from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, you know, form around Christmas, we talk about that pivotal. They give the ball away again. Here's a chance, Lamina, make it ground on the left-hand side. He's got Company ahead of him. He tries to beat him. Company does really well, gets a foot in. And wow, Lamina needed to work that ball, use that ball much sooner. Ball given away, but City here absolutely imploding. This game had come too easy. You know, they were battering Southampton, but Saints are back in it now, believe you me. You know, in all my variations of what I thought would happen today, I had Southampton scoring a goal, and maybe they've got 2 in them. I did have a little dabble on a 2-all draw. I thought, well, that's maybe wishful thinking, but they might even do better. Anyway, Ward-Prowse ball into the box, nodded away by Danilo at the near post.
City need half-time here, don't they? They need to go back in, let Guardiola just give them a few more ideas, take a breather and come out and do in the second half what they did at the start of the first. But at the moment, Southampton really feeling more confident as Aguero now brings the ball forward here for City, but that's a decent challenge there from Bednarik.
Yeah, he's never going to beat the lot of them there, is he? And I think, you know, they're rattled, aren't they? They're making 1 or 2 bad decisions. But like we say, you know, Zinchenko should be nowhere near this team, really, for me. You know, I've talked about their lack of quality in full-back position. You know, Zinchenko keeps drifting in field. And what happened to him there, you know, if you've got Delph playing left-back there, you know, he's 2-footed, he knows not to turn into trouble. He'd be keeping the shape left-hand side, even though he's right foot, he can play the ball back on his inside. He can also hit, you know, a ball with his left foot. Zinchenko he'd gone too narrow, and then when he picks the ball up, he thinks he can just turn on his inside. I mean, you know, the ball got away from him. Touch not good enough as Bernardo Silva now on the ball. And then just after that, Danilo gave the ball away, held the other side, and then you think, oh, blimey. But they're not great players, and teams who win the title tend to have great players in virtually every position. Romeo, he looks like he's got a shine. I don't know when that's happened, but anyway, he'll play through that. Southampton, who looked like they were all at sea to start with, are now back on the boat, and it's Man City who look just a little bit rattled, but again, they're trying to get back on the ball. Football's a fascinating game, isn't it? I don't think there'll be too many back in the draw or Southampton today, but well, at half time, which we're closing in on, they could well be levels as Myers puts a good looking ball into the box. It's headed back where it came by Stevens. It will be a throw. Myers is playing well today at least, and everything that's going forward for City is good. They just haven't taken all their chances.
They haven't taken all their chances. They're certainly getting more joy down the right than they down their right than they are down their left. I mean, Sterling and Zinchenko, particularly Zinchenko, hasn't really done too much in terms of going forward. But with about 5 minutes to go before half time, I wonder if we're going to get a bit of a shift now, and is it going to be Man City trying to push forward again?
I think so. They'll be trying to get back on the lead, won't they? Ball won by Danilo, and Bednarek comes and just cleans it out. Ball headed up in the air by Laporte. Romeo fights for it but doesn't necessarily win it, and then Morris ties it up and finds Danilo. Ball goes back for City, one apiece at St Mary's. Not quite the game that many were expecting, but Southampton making a fight of it. But now an opportunity. David Silva into the box he goes. The cutback looks decent. Chance for Aguero. Snatches left-footed. It's not a good strike, that.
No, the initial touch to flick the ball up was good from Aguero, but then he couldn't quite to get the ball down like he wanted. And as we'll see from this replay now, as he's moving forward, Aguero gets a bit of space at the edge of the area. He does well to flick it up, but then he doesn't get the connection with his left foot once the ball is up in the air.
No, close but no cigar. Raheem Sterling was on the overlap there. David Silva went inside to Aguero instead. They were both good options, but it didn't quite work out. You know, Guardiola, arms folded across his chest. That's a defensive kind of pose, really. I don't think he's enjoying this sort of indeterminate form that they've shown. But again, you know, there's no doubt they've been the better team today, and that must rankle a bit when you're creating that many chances and somehow they're not going in.
It will do, of course, but at the same time, this isn't happened by some freak accident that City are level in this game. They've wasted a couple of good opportunities. They've been messing about with the ball a little bit in defence. And as I say, if Zinchenko knows how to control the ball and get rid of it in his own half, then Højbjerg doesn't have the chance to score. So everything that's happened sort of against City is very much avoidable in this first half.
Danilo gets fouled there, and he's calling for the referee to show a yellow card, which is nice, particularly. But anyway, referee ignores him. City trying to play their way out of a tight corner, but the ball given away, and then Romeo picks it up, and then Southampton trying to make the break. Good ball slanted across, an opportunity in the box. It's surely a penalty kick there. Zinchenko bundles down Ward-Prowse. Paultini does nothing there. Surely that was a penalty.
That's a penalty, I think. I mean, Zinchenko is leaning on the Southampton man there. Must admit, I mean, Mo Salah, I'm going to make this point again, Mo Salah against Newcastle was touched a fraction compared to that, and he went down, and it was given as a penalty. It wasn't even given as a dive afterwards.
Well, he even looks guilty, Zinchenko, doesn't he?
He's got away with one there, Oleg Zinchenko. He lets Ward-Prowse get in ahead of him. I mean, there's not a huge amount of contact. It's not like he's shoved him down, but there's no attempt to get the ball. And he's leading.
Ward-Prowse is goal side of him, and he just blunders into the back of him. That's how I see it, and that's a penalty all day and every day. I mean, you don't have to make that much contact, but the thing is, he was beaten. You know, the ball beat him, Ward-Prowse beat him, he's goal side of him. So why is Ward-Prowse going to go down there? You know, it was a foul inside the box. El Yunusi gets a bad decision off the assistant referee, at least he thinks so.
Yeah, in fairness, the assistant there was trying to be very sort of polite and say to El Yunusi exactly how he saw it. But let's have a look at this again. Ward-Prowse is clearly there ahead of Zinchenko. There is a shove. There is a shove. It's not much, but it's enough. As I say, you've seen him given for a lot less than that. And Paultini's very quick to say no contact. Well, what does he think has happened there? Ward-Prowse has beaten the fullback. He's pretty much one-on-one with the keeper, and then what? He chooses to go down. So it's not a dive. It's not a foul. So why has Ward-Prowse gone down? I can't understand how Tierney's come to that conclusion.
Well, we just see David Silva twist into the box. Raheem Sterling then gets round the back, an opportunity as the ball flies into the back of the net off a big deflection. How did that go in? I don't know, but they broke round the back, and the ball just ends up the back of the net. Bit of heartbreak, really, for Southampton, who've certainly played their part in this game.
Was it Young Ramsey that's got the deflection?
Sure,
we'll see from this replay now. But it's very, very harsh on Southampton. This game has gone up and down for the Saints in these first 45 minutes. So Man City do retake the lead at St Mary's just before half-time, but there's a real air of controversy about the game right now, because just a few moments ago there should have been a penalty for Southampton. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Ward-Prowse was was pushed over by Zinchenko. Referee pulled in, he didn't give it, and then it's the same man, Ward-Prowse, coming back to stop the run of Raheem Sterling, who deflects Sterling's cross into his own goal, past goalkeeper McCarthy, to put Manchester City 2-1 up. It's very harsh on Southampton. If you were to take the first half an hour, you would say that Southampton deserved to be 2 or 3 down, but considering they got an equaliser and actually probably should have had a penalty, they're very unlucky to be going in at half-time 2-1 down.
Yeah, they sure are. Well, my bets today had been 3-1 and 2-all, so I'm sat almost pretty. But the game itself is poised, really. I think there's something there for Southampton in this game, I really do. But the thing is, Man City keep creating chances, they keep fluid there. Yeah, there's a touch of ill fortune about that, but really, the chances that they've created, you know, it's a big surprise that they've only scored 2 today. I still think they're hot on it. You know, they've shown that there's still a bit of a soft underbelly. You know, they made mistakes at the back. We talked about the reasons for that. It's because the personnel's not great. You know, Zinchenko and Danilo, I don't think are great players. Vincent Kompany used to be, and he's not anymore. You know, I think they're taking a few liberties, really. We know that they play out from the back, and if you do it with inferior players, then, you know, Southampton just realised that they've got more chance to close them down because these guys aren't brilliant, you know. So that gives an incentive to keep doing that.
It does, and it does make for a very interesting second half. I would hope from Southampton's point of view that they'll use this bit of misfortune with a decision and the own goal to just get back into the game. But City on the attack again.
Danilo scrapes the ball into the box, headed up in the air. It's not been cleared away. The ball breaks to Bernardo. He has a shot in. Romeo doing a good enough job just to stop him in his tracks there. I think because they've scored a goal, you know, it's just opened it up a little bit. Also, Southampton, in the shape that they were, once they grabbed that goal, just thought, right, we're going to play a normal game. They're not playing a rearguard action now. They're trying to play naturally, and you know, maybe that's allowing City a bit more ball anyway. Closing in at half-time with 47 minutes on the clock. There was a stoppage when Bernardo picked up that little cut on his head. He's all right now. We're in the final minute of that exciting game at St Mary's, but it's Man City on top, and they're finishing on top as well. Ball laid back. Zinchenko ball inside. He gets it back now. Chance for a cross from him. Great cross in. There's it. It's in the back of the net. City have grabbed a third. Wow, header from Aguero. Well, eventually they've got a third goal. They've created a host of chances, but this one's a good ball in and a good header.
Well, City may have wrapped up this game before half-time. It's now Southampton 1, Manchester City 3 in the final seconds of injury time, and it's Sergio Aguero who should have scored earlier in the half. City should have scored a few earlier in the half, but now they're sort of making up for it in these final minutes. Zinchenko with a left-footed cross from the edge of the area. Aguero is onside, heads it down. McCarthy does get a hand to it, but he can't stop it going in the back of the net, and Southampton will really be fuming. They equalised, had a very good shout for a penalty, and now in the last few minutes of this second half, they've conceded twice. It's Southampton 1, Manchester City 3.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, really. But you know what? They haven't defended particularly well. There's a big gap for Aguero. It's a lovely ball to him. Referee blows his whistle, and there we are. Southampton 1, Man City 3 at the break.
Half time at St Mary's, and it's Southampton 1, Manchester City 3. City starting very well in this game and taking the lead on 10 minutes through David Silva after a lovely move between Mahrez and Bernardo Silva. It was then 1-1 with an equal... Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was City who took the lead early on after a strike from David Silva after good work from Bernardo and Mahrez down the right-hand side. City missed a whole host of chances to make it 2 or 3 before Højbjerg got an equaliser after a mistake from Zinchenko. Then there was an appeal from Southampton for a penalty not given, and 2 quick goals from City before half-time. One was an own goal from Ward-Prowse after a cross from Sterling, and then a ball in from Zinchenko, headed down by Aguero to make it 3-1 at the break. Manchester City lead 3-1 at half-time at St Mary's. It was
He's done well in the Sterling playing on the left and a constant threat, really.
It is, and a corner kick now to Manchester City. Left-footed outswinger from David Silva. Company was the intended target. He headed it down, but he was blocked off, and now a loose ball at the edge of the area. Elanusi bringing down Raheem Sterling and giving away the free kick.
Went down in instalments, Raheem Sterling, just to make his point there, but he's won a free kick. So another opportunity to load up the box.
Certainly is, and Sterling and David Silva standing over this one. Referee Paul Tilly just telling them that he's got to wait. They've got to wait for him to do all the magic sprays before we can get this free kick taken. And it's just a one-man wall. Elanusi's just stood there to try and stop any kind of cheeky shot for the near post. I think Alex McCarthy and the Southampton defence are more likely to expect a cross to come in from this left-hand side. And it is Sterling and David Silva. So there's a right foot and a left-footed option, and it is the left foot of David Silva. Sends it towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed across there by Laporte, but it's a long way from goal.
Yeah, the Frenchman got there, but he couldn't guide it where he wanted. But again, it's a decent free kick. That again, they're on it. They're definitely going to score this second half, aren't they, Man City, you feel? And you know they might need to do that to put the game to bed. They've been stung recently, haven't they? Scored a goal or two and still lost, but at 3-1 they're still in a very good position, but like I said, the next goal probably kills it stone dead, so they're desperate to do that.
They are, yeah, because they know that if Southampton score next to make it 3-2, then things could get a bit more edgy for City in defence, and they've already looked a little bit shaky in the last few games, but they're pushing forward again now. Sterling is onside, down the left-hand side, breaking into the penalty area, finding some space there. Sterling playing it across for Aguero. That is a vital challenge there at the last ditch. I think it was Target that got across and made that challenge. Now it's played up to Redmond on the halfway line. He plays the ball over the top, looking for Austin, who heads it down for Elanusi, and there's some space here for Elanusi if he wants to go back towards Austin. And I'm not surprised that Austin's got his arms up there in frustration, because he was completely unmarked on the left, and Elanusi ran to the right where there were 3 City players, and as a result of that, he was dispossessed.
Yeah, ran into a brick wall when Austin had made good ground. I mean, Vincent and company's vaguely telling Danilo to mark Austin, but I wouldn't have minded seeing those two going at it, seeing if Austin couldn't just get half a yard on him to get his shot away, but ball never came.
Didn't come in the end, no, and it's now with Company on the halfway line, plays it to Aguero. He just chips the ball towards the right-hand side now for Riyad Mahrez. Mahrez, they're looking for options, goes square towards Bernardo Silva. Really has been involved in this game, Bernardo Silva, out wide and through the middle. Had a good game, as indeed has David Silva, but now it's with Aguero, who's got out wide this time. Aguero trying to skip past 3 players, but Højbjerg in the end stopping his run. Højbjerg just dwelling on the ball a little bit, but he is able to play it away. It doesn't quite reach Redmond though. Picked up by Fernandinho, who plays it into the box now for Raheem Sterling. Left-hand side, Sterling trying to trick his way into the box. Kane Ramsey did his best to try and stop the run, and eventually it was cleared away by Ward-Prowse, but Redmond can't control it on the halfway line. And City are back in possession now with Laporte, Bernardo Silva and Zinchenko exchanging passes. Now David Silva sends the ball out wider towards Sterling. It's with Zinchenko now, left-hand edge of the penalty area. Sterling plays it back into David Silva. Sterling carries on his run. It's a great opportunity. It's a decent save as well from goalkeeper McCarthy. Plays it towards the edge of the box. It's now picked up again by City. Southampton are struggling to clear their lines at the moment. That was a good challenge though from Charlie Austin, because I think he's deflected that onto Bernardo Silva to win Southampton a throw.
Yeah, good effort from him, great effort from Raheem Sterling, looking so lively, fizzing and buzzing around. Lovely 1-2, gets the great ball back, left-footed strike, and then I don't know if it's McCarthy or the post, but either which way, the ball doesn't hit the back of his head.
He's headed it away. That's a rare one there from McCarthy, but I suppose it all counts. Probably feeding that on his forehead as well, but try not to show it there. But it must have been a fairly decent connection there. That wasn't a good connection. No, Højbjerg completely miskicks it. And now Bernardo Silva almost kept David Silva almost kept City in the hunt there, but Romeo just about gets there first and puts it out for a throw to Manchester City over on the far side, the right-hand side, as Man City look. The ball now played back towards Edison. 55 minutes gone here at St Mary's. It is Southampton 1 and Manchester City 3. In the other game, it's still Burnley 2, West Ham 0, which would be a massive result for Burnley. Gets them back into that mix there. They're just a few points off at the start of play today. Now it's back with Manchester City inside their own half. Laporte and Company exchanging passes before Company sends a ball up towards Aguero. Aguero just gets away from his man, but he's forced to go back in towards Bernardo Silva. Now it's played out towards Sterling on the left-hand side. He plays it back into Zinchenko. Now David Silva back towards the halfway line, and pretty much as you were from the beginning of the first half, where Southampton was struggling to get any of the ball. City now pushing forward here with Fernandinho. He plays it towards Bernardo Silva. Now it's David Silva at the edge of the area. He's got options, and one of those is Sterling breaking into the box on the left-hand side. Sterling is trying to skip away from Ward-Prowse. He's gone back onto his left foot before he sends a ball which goes straight out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, he stands the ball up there. It wasn't his best effort for someone who's played a winger. He's never crossed the ball that well. Ball probably needs to come back on the inside there, but yeah, Raheem Sterling, like I said, he keeps causing problems, and the more he does that, the more he's going to be involved in goals and assists.
Yeah, well, he's 17 appearances and he's got 9 goals and 6 assists, so almost a goal or an assist in every game, which is what you want from a wide attacking player, really. I'm sure he'd love to have had a few more goals. His finishing has improved. I think that's, as with quite a few things with Sterling, there was probably a little bit too much focus on the fact that he doesn't finish. I mean, he certainly had that excellent game for England away in Spain, where he scored a couple of very good goals, but overall I think Sterling has certainly improved under Guardiola. Guardiola was someone who wanted to sign Sterling when he was still at Bayern Munich, so Sterling is certainly getting the benefit now of having this great manager giving him all the encouragement and a lot of game time as well. As again, the City just choosing to play short balls from their own goal kick, and Southampton have got 5 players pressing here, and eventually Edison is forced to send the long ball out towards the right-hand side. But because Southampton were pressing so high up, it meant that Danilo had nobody bothering him when he controlled that ball on the right-hand side. He plays it short to Bernardo Silva. Now it's with Fernandinho. Plays it back in towards Bernardo Silva, up towards Aguero, and back in towards Fernandinho now. Southampton doing what they can to be compact in midfield, but City are finding spaces, and they're getting a real lion's share. But that's a really clumsy challenge there from Charlie Austin, and a yellow card is absolutely nailed on for me as far as I could see.
Yep, bit of a bad boy challenge there from the striker. He just chops down Fernandinho. He just dwelt on it a little bit, but raking studs through the back of his ankles were nasty, really.
Yeah, it's a bad one from Austin, and it's as I say, it's a centre forwards tackle there, but he's got to do better there, really. Charlie Austin, he knows that he's got very little chance of getting the ball from that kind of angle, the way he was coming into that. And so it's going to be a second change for Southampton by the looks of it. They're taking off another midfielder here. Raul Romeu is off, and Jan Valeri is on, which means does that mean that Ward-Prowse is going to sit in midfield now?
I don't understand it really, but I guess so, because we expect, he's been playing right wing back for them. But anyway, ball into the box here for City. A shout! And Aguero hits the post. Fat crossbar and post there, somewhere in between. But that could easily have been number 4.
Could have been. Aguero goes early. He might just have been leaning offside, or it might just have been level Aguero, but he does well to turn, control it on his left foot, and fires it, as you said, against the sort of joint between the crossbar and post there. It looks like that's pretty much where it's hit. It's exactly where it's hit, in fact, and the ball going away for a goal kick eventually.
I thought he was onside. I thought Carl Ramsey just about played him onside there, but it was a touch and go decision, and it was a good hit that, but again, they haven't quite killed it. Like you said, if Southampton manage to score a goal, then they can throw the kitchen sink and the game's up in the air.
It is, yeah. The crowd will get into it more as well. Of course, the home crowd will start to feel as though they've got a chance of seeing a point, or maybe even all 3.
I mean, it looks fairly emphatic. They're dominating play, and the 3-1 up. But with a 2-goal cushion, it's not quite done and dusted.
It's not quite done and dusted. An interesting stat as well, that there's been only 3 shots from Southampton. All of them have been on target. City have had 11 shots, 5 of which have been on target. So 5-3 in shots on target just shows you that Southampton are still very much in this game. City have probably wasted or not used their possession as well as they could have done, and a couple of their earlier chances in the first half should have been on target as well. Again, it's more short passing at the edge of their own box, but Laporte eventually sends a long ball up towards Bernardo Silva, and then Aguero plays the ball out towards the right-hand side. It's kept in play there by Danilo, and he's moving forward down the right-hand side now. Danilo plays it inside towards David Silva. Silva's got some space at the edge of the area. He thought about the shot, but then he plays it across to Sterling. Sterling's ball into the box is headed away. Loose ball picked up by Fernandinho, who feeds Riyad Mahrez, and Mahrez has got space to measure the shot. Bednarek with the block as the ball is heading towards goal, and it's away for a corner.
Yeah, some wonderful football there by Man City. Yeah, it's so fluid, isn't it? Playing out from the back, which they do. And then, biff bang wallop, they're at the edge of the box and it shots in. Great movement, great space. They're all over Southampton looking to kill this game off.
They certainly are. It's a short corner though from Mahrez to Bernardo. Then the ball comes back to Mahrez. He was in an offside position. The header from Laporte is saved by McCarthy in any case. But that's often an offence you see these days, where teams don't realise that as soon as you take a short corner you need to move forward, because the opposition defence are wise to that, and they're moving forward as well. So at St Mary's, it's still Southampton 1, Manchester City. Southampton have made 2 changes with Oriol Romeu and Mario Lemina being replaced by Jan Valeri and Nathan. Remember, that will suggest that Southampton want a bit more width in the way that they play in this second half, but they've struggled to get any kind of attacking possession really in this second half. The Saints, Man City have had a couple of very good chances already. There was a strike from Sterling, which was well saved. There was a strike from Aguero, which struck the crossbar, and a couple of other opportunities. The City have tried to just dominate and kill this game off at 3-1. They're looking fairly good, but they don't want to let Southampton back in with a second goal for the home side. Southampton just need to see a little bit more of the ball in attack. That short spell in the first half where they put pressure on City paid off, but so far it's still 3-1.
Bit of battling going on in the middle of the park, and a free kick given in favour of Man City. I did think Company had put a block in before that, and some of the Saints players unhappy with the referee, who hasn't had a particularly good game. He's a bit hit and miss, the ref. I'll be glad when VAR comes in. It just will stop them making the terrible decision.
Only if it's the FIFA version, which allows the referee on the field to see the replay. If we're going to have this ridiculous FA Cup VAR we had last season, where some referee in a studio is describing to the on-field ref what's happened, then that's not going to work.
No, maybe not. But we saw today that he had a decision to make about a foul or outside the area. Didn't do it. Referees don't do that, do they? And then they need a little bit of help. You know, right, it's a free kick, it's just outside the area, all right, you know, then referees be more inclined to give them. But we saw one of those today that the referee just decides to ignore, you know. Yeah, they need a bit of help, don't they? They
do, they absolutely do. As I say, the VAR has to come in, because sometimes we can see a mistake seconds after it's made and a referee on the field isn't allowed to know, so that has to change. But in the meantime, Southampton had a free kick a long way out, which was cleared away, and now all of a sudden City can go on the break. Sterling is onside, and Ramsey has come back there with him, but Sterling still has the ball. He tries to get a shot away. In fact, it's a pass to Aguero. Aguero's strike is just about stopped by the returning Ward-Prowse, who sort of slides out of play with the ball, and it's away for a corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure he didn't touch a part of Ward-Prowse's hand. Before that, Raheem Sterling was brought down in midfield, but he kept his run going. He was just onside, wasn't he? I'm not sure if this wasn't a shot from him, Paul, but either which way, it breaks out, and then I don't know which part of Ward-Prowse stops that ball going in, but he's giving away a corner.
He has given away a corner. Riyad Mahrez, the left footer, standing on this one on the right hand side, so it's going to be an in-swinger. Corner straight in this time, no short corner, but it's headed up in the air by Højbjerg and then played a bit further away, but it's pumped straight back into the penalty area, or at least to the edge of the area where Sterling is still waiting. He's been marked there by Target, but he goes back into Zinchenko, and then he plays it back towards Fernandinho on the halfway line. He's playing it square towards Kompany. And the visitors still in complete control of possession. They just need that fourth goal to really wrap this game up. And City now pushing forward again as Danilo finds Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva going back in towards Kompany on the halfway line. Just plays it short to Fernandinho. Now it's out to Zinchenko, who's got some space on the left-hand side this time. He goes in towards Bernardo. Now it's with Aguero. No foul, says the referee. That was a very industrious challenge, to say the least. I'd like to see another replay of that. Certainly the City players were looking towards the referee as though they were expecting a free kick there.
Yeah, it should have been a free kick. I mean, yeah, it's a good challenge in a sense, but, you know, he's got a lot of the ball. But then when you slide through somebody with the second wave, if you like, then, you know, there Aguero shouldn't have to hurdle somebody just to, you know, he's keeping his feet there. He didn't fall down, he was brought down, even though Ward-Prowse won the ball.
Certainly was, but City now going on the attack again as David Silva feeds the run of Sterling. Sterling breaks into the box, and Ramsey's has he brought down Sterling there? I think he has. I think that the young man's got away with it there a little bit. I thought that they didn't get much of the ball, or none of the ball at all, as Zinchenko now wins the ball back for Man City in midfield.
Well, Raheem Sterling looks at him and thinks, well, why on earth will I go down there? You know, anyway, an opportunity here for City.
Yeah, ball in from David Silva is over the head of Aguero, and then Danilo just trying to close down Matt Target, but eventually the ball is put out by Danilo for a goal kick. Let's see as Sterling skips past Jan Valeri, and then it's coming across there. It's actually Valeri that puts the challenge in, and I'm just wondering if does he get any of the ball there? No. Well, he's sort of, but I mean, he's
I don't think so. I don't think he ever quite gets upside. For me, what it is Raheem Sterling's got round him there. Valeri's putting pressure on him without getting the ball, you know, sort of leaning in, bustling in. For me, it's borderline, but I'd have given a penalty for that, I think.
It was certainly a close one, as Shane Long now is going to be the third substitution for Southampton to come on in a moment, and I just wonder if this is going to be to join Austin or to come on for him, because Austin rarely plays a full 90 minutes. But here come City now down the left-hand side as the ball is picked up now by David Silva, just rolls it back in towards Laporte on the halfway line. Picked up now by Fernandinho. Fernandinho back to Aymeric Laporte, and now it's a square towards Vincent Kompany, all over towards the right hand side now, picked up here by Riyad Mahrez. Mahrez plays it back through Danilo towards Kompany again. A bit of pressing there from Elanusi, but City still looking fairly comfortable on the ball as Mahrez now a little bit deeper, just trying to get away from Højbjerg. Højbjerg's not leaving him alone though, so he just has to roll the ball towards Danilo. Danilo then has space down this right hand side to find Bernardo Silva. And here is Sergio Aguero back to Bernardo Silva. Southampton doing what they can though to press, so City aren't finding it easy to get forward, but they're still keeping possession as Zinchenko now and Sterling exchange a pass on the left hand side. It goes back towards Laporte on the halfway line. And Company now finds Fernandinho. Danilo now plays the ball towards the right-hand side for Aguero. Played back towards the halfway line again, and Manchester City again looking to try and just to generate a bit more of an attacking threat as they move the ball forward now down the left-hand side. As Zinchenko moves it towards David Silva, but that's a decent challenge there from Kane Ramsey to put it out for a throw-on. And now here is the change, and it is going to be Charlie Austin to go off, so he carries on his run of not playing a full 90 minutes, and Shane Long on in his place.
Yeah, we're going to get a lot of effort from Shane Long.
I must admit, I'm surprised that it's not. I'm surprised it's not Danny Ings. To be honest, I just think that he's. I think he's more of a goal scorer. Long doesn't score many goals. He's quicker than Ings, but I just think that if you want to nick a goal from somewhere, then I think Ings might have been the better option.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Danny Ings has shown already this season with a couple of those games where he was nodding him in. If you deliver a good ball to him, then he's strong in the air. But yeah, it just seems like Southampton just want to take their medicine today and say, right, 3-1, we're going to close it out by just working hard.
Yeah.
But even that might not be enough.
Well, Zinchenko's done something very unusual there. Sterling was actually stood there staring. I think, what was that? Because he just sliced the pass straight out for a throw to Southampton. So now a chance for the home side to at least keep a bit of possession as Ramsey goes back in towards Jack Stevens, about 25 yards out from his own goal, and then a long ball from Stevens down the middle. But that one is comfortable for Vincent Kompany. We've reached the three-quarter mark in the game. 68 minutes gone. It is Southampton 1, Manchester City 3, and it will be John to take you through to full-time.
So, yeah, Man City are on the lead and dominating the game. I think Guardiola should keep his team intact like this. I'd be loath to make changes if I was him, because I think they're the dominant force. Don't tinker about with that. We saw Chelsea earlier in their game win 1-0, but Sarri decided he was going to bring defenders on for midfielders and attackers, and they ended up having to defend and allowed Palace a few chances that they were never going to get in open play, in the previous 80 minutes. Like we said, if Southampton do get a goal back, then it'd be all hands to pumps. But Guardiola didn't seem to be falling any kind of trap. He's just saying to his team, "Go on, you're playing better. We're creating in the shape we are. We're good, and we're probably good for another goal." But they haven't quite got that. Raheem Sterling has the ball aimed toward him, but not quite good enough as Kane Ramsey takes the throw. The youngster, he's a big lad actually, 18, but you'd be forgiven for thinking that he's a centre back. He's that big, but he's done a decent enough job today. I think he doesn't look like any great weak link. I think Hasenhüttl has drafted him into the squad. I don't think he's been let down by his performance. I think he's been all right. We've seen Mahrez running past Matt Targett today. Mahrez had a good first half. He's hardly been involved in the second period. Southampton 1, Man City 3, and vital that City got back on the horse, because they've had a disappointing festive period. I wondered if it might come. Previously in the season didn't look like there was any wobbling going on at all, did they? Really, one draw, and then all of a sudden we have the two defeats in the league. But anyway, Bernardo now runs past Højbjerg into the box. He goes, but he just overcommits, and it's Southampton can come away with the ball with Bednarek. Little ball flicked on unwittingly, then Zinchenko. There's a terrible foul in the middle of the park, and Vincent Kompany is going to see the yellow card. Clumsy from him, really. But he's always done that, so no big surprise.
There's always a chance. I mean, that is a really bad challenge there from Kompany. A little bit of justice for him there, as well as Elanusi comes crashing down on him. Kompany probably felt that quite badly as well. But third yellow card for him. And he's missed quite a few games this season, Vincent Kompany, but there's always a chance we're going to get a substitution. First substitution for Manchester City, as Gabriel Jesus is getting ready to come on.
Yeah, he's either doing that or rehearsing the can. But it should be for Aguero, I would have thought. I don't see any reason to change too much for Man City. But here come Long now with Southampton round the back. Ball comes in to the far post, nobody there on hand. Raheem Sterling at the far post doing a bit of defending for his team, but then he gives the ball away. Raheem Sterling though gets back on it, just uses that pace to bail himself out and get out of trouble. And now the counter-attack is on. Aguero might be his last action here, and he's just hauled back. Got to be a card for Bednarek, and it is.
It is, yeah. Bednarek took one for the team there. I think he was worried that Aguero and Sterling.
I think Company tried to pull out. Actually, keeper dropped the ball there, didn't he? But anyway, the ball was going to get cleared by Saints. So I guess it didn't matter too much. Hassan Huttle, he's not going to be judged on this at all, is he? I mean,
no. I mean, you're looking at Southampton's next games after today. It doesn't get any easier for them. On Wednesday, they're away to Chelsea. Then they've got Derby away in the FA Cup, followed by games against Leicester and Everton. So the next few games for Saints aren't good at all.
No, they're not good. Well, it's like you're in the top flight. Then the games are going to be difficult, and even the FA Cup game against Derby is not. I guess that's one that essentially they wouldn't mind losing because they've got bigger fish to fry.
Well, you could argue Derby might say the same. I mean, they've obviously got a battle to stay in that playoff mix, that promotion mix to get into the Premier League.
Yeah, but I can imagine them both making 8 or 9 changes for that game.
It could be a situation where both sides put out their second string.
A brilliant win for Derby yesterday, back from the dead at Carrow Road.
Yeah, as I say, the Championship has really been a very exciting league this year with so many surprises. Norwich losing 2 on the trot at home, losing to Forest on Boxing Day as well. Yeah,
that's right. And had a great opportunity to leapfrog Leeds at the top. Nobody wants to be the top dogs, do they, in that division? We've seen serial teams at the top. But anyway, we'll not talk about that league again because it makes Paul depressed. So here come Man City. Zinchenko driving forward and the ball laid back, but for the moment City going nowhere and happy with that.
So it's still Manchester City leading Southampton by 3-1. Saints have made all their changes now. Valeri, Redmond and now Shane Long coming on. City have also made a change with Aguero being replaced by Jesus. But chances in front of goal. City have had a couple moving forward. There was a good opportunity for Sterling, which was well saved by McCarthy. There was also an opportunity to try and get the ball back for Mahrez, but he couldn't quite get his shots away. At the other end, Southampton have had precious little possession going forward. They really have struggled to put any kind of pressure on the Manchester City defence. But whilst the scoreline is 3-1, if Southampton were to get the next goal in this game, they'll still feel as though they've got a chance of rescuing a point, but as it is, they still trail by 3-1.
Yeah, a lot of the hard yards done in the first half by Man City, who basically could have scored 8. They got 3, which still probably going to be enough, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, a host of attacking players today. You look at Guardiola and what he does, but you can't say that he doesn't back his talent. That's a strong challenge from Danilo, a terrible challenge really, and it should be a yellow card for him. It is. You know, we saw Aguero get one for one challenge. That's the first from Danilo. Yeah, but it's so agricultural that it's untrue. I said today I thought Man City would get more yellow cards than Southampton. You know, they're on the raggedy edge today. They don't let anybody go past. They just chop them down, and that's the hallmark of this team. So it's surprising how many big teams do that. But Danilo's gone in the book. He joins company and Aguero. I think that might be it for them. I thought Raheem Sterling tends to be a bit naughty and get himself booked at times, but he hasn't obliged for me so far today. Ward-Prowse a chance to sling the ball in the mixer now, and he does. In comes the ball, long fights for it. Zinchenko clears it, and Raheem Sterling, fleet-footed there, is on a good break. Just try to flick that ball the outstep of his right boot there, rather than hit it more naturally with his left. That probably robbed him the opportunity to find a teammate. But a good way to defend then, just use your pace and burst away from the back line. Yeah, absolutely. And it was a shame for Sterling that he couldn't quite get that ball on, because there's another good counter-attacking opportunity there for Man City. Southampton are in that difficult sort of quandary whether or not they send more players forward for a set piece to give themselves a real chance of getting that second goal. Then of course if they do that and they don't use the set piece, then all of a sudden City can go forward and have a lot more space. But as it stands, it is still City in possession on the halfway line. Yeah, Zinchenko lays it on his inside to Laporte over the halfway line. The big Frenchman goes. Former Bilbao stopper. He can play in midfield as well. We saw that in his career at Bilbao. Not too often though, as he just dabs it to his right hand side to Company, who has looked a bit rusty today. I mean, he's been a great player, but he's always had that, you know, where he sweeps through players and cleans him out. You know, he can't gently bring somebody down, can he? He always absolutely chops somebody. It's always going to be a very strong challenge from him, absolutely. Yeah, that's make sure they know they're on the field with him. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, he's on a yellow card. He's forced to go back to Laporte under pressure from Long. Ball back with Ederson. Long leads the charge. The out ball as ever to Fernandinho, who hasn't had his best game, just finding his way back into this team. Has played well enough. Here's Mahrez now, driving toward goal. He's got Raheem Sterling on his inside. Should he use him? He takes a shot and there's a save, and as you can hear, maybe that was the wrong option. It was the wrong option. He's got to hit it square there, Morris. It's a guaranteed goal. He wants the goal himself. The ball's been recycled back to him. He then plays it in towards David Silva at the edge of the area. Goes down, no foul given, and Elanusi can bring the ball forward now for Southampton, but he's dispossessed, or in fact he's fouled. Yeah, fouled by Jesus. Tackling from the wrong side. 4-1, that had been sorted, wouldn't it? But I really like Mahrez. He can't do much wrong for me. But great ball from Laporte as well. Yeah, terrific ball out. And Jesus spun a lovely ball around the corner. But, well, I've got to say about that young kid, Kane Ramsey, I think he did a pretty good job of defending what was on his inside there. As now an opportunity for Southampton. Won a corner off Zinchenko down this right-hand side. If this one goes in, I mean, there's 10 minutes left. It could be a long 10 minutes for City. It could be, absolutely. City have, again, just like in the first half, they had a much better start to the half. Couldn't get that all-important fourth goal. Interesting stat that David Silva's created 4 chances for Man City this afternoon. Southampton as a team have created 3. Yep. He's a good player. David Silva. Remember first becoming aware of him at Valencia. The David Villa. As the corner kick comes in, it's quite comfortably dealt with. Ball breaks the edge of the area, and then a shot comes in. It's on target from Højbjerg, but it's pretty comfortable for Ederson. An easy save. So easy that Paul's not going to write that one down, because it doesn't really rank as a chance, does it? No, it was a shot on target, but as you said, he concentrated so hard on keeping that shot on target that the technique was good, but it was always going to be straight down the middle of the goal as Redmond still goes on the run. But that's a good challenge there from Danilo. Yeah, Danilo sticks a leg out, takes the ball away from him. Very static. Danilo got lucky, in my opinion there. Danilo's on a yellow card as well. Just can't, you know, stick a leg out like that. I don't think he had to work hard. He got lucky anyway. He won the ball. I'll not have too big a go at him, but I do think he and Zinchenko have been weak links in the City team today. Zinchenko gave the ball away for the Southampton goal, which gave them a bit of hope. He brought Southampton out to play, didn't it? That goal, and made a tougher game of it than maybe was expected. But City have been the dominant force, and they continue to do that. You know, they're not making too many changes. They've brought Jesus on for Aguero, saying, right, we keep on going, and we probably will grab that goal. My idea of correct score before the ball was kicked today was probably 3-1. I thought they'd concede. I must admit, when you get that half-time, you think, well, that's that then. The City are bound to score more. But how often do teams almost have it sorted out first half and then it all goes quiet?
Yeah, it does happen, doesn't it? And as I say, City did start brightly in the second half, but they only really had 2 or 3 chances. They seem to have a lot more in the first. And I just think that from Southampton's point of view, they've sort of been in a bit of a difficult position as to whether to push men forward and open up, which would then allow City more chances to get that 4th goal, but at the same time it might give Southampton more chance to get their 2nd goal. Yeah,
I don't think, we see a foul there and,
could be off.
Well, Bednarek, is he going to pick up a card here?
Oh, no, he's not. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe it would have been a little bit harsh to give him a 2nd yellow for that, but he's got to watch it. That was a challenge that the referee certainly would have thought about. Riyad Mahrez going off as the 2nd change for Man City to be replaced by Leroy Sané.
Yeah, I don't think there's much contact with that foul. Sané comes on, will go left, and Raheem Sterling then will probably switch out to the right-hand side. Mahrez has played well, but he, just gone a bit quiet, hasn't he, really? Sané's not a bad lad to bring on, is he? Full of goals and chances this season. And Raheem Sterling does go right-hand side and gets past his marker, drives on the inside, shows a bit too much of that ball. It's hit the heel of Bednarek and goes out. Well, we're closing in on almost the last 5 minutes of regulation play and can't see any let-up, really. It's just been Man City absolutely dominating, and they've just been way too good for Southampton today. I mean, you look at the table and it probably tells the tale. Before a ball was kicked, we didn't think they were going to really compete, and although Hassan Huttel has had a sort of nice introduction, really, and they played quite well a couple of times, I thought last time out they were deadly average, and today reverting to a back 4, I just thought they got swamped. I mean, it literally could have been 8 the first half. Don't forget, I think that Raheem Sterling was brought down in his second half, should have had a penalty as well. So David Silva missed an early chances. Højbjerg, he and Fernandinho have it coming together, and Fernandinho didn't enjoy that.
It's going to be a red here, I think. It is.
Well, the card's out.
It's a straight red here for Pierre Højbjerg. He's been sent off for clattering into Vincent Kompany. We'll just see from this replay exactly how the foul went down. But Pierre Højbjerg is off, and that's a shame for Southampton. If he's going to be banned for 3 games now, they're going to miss him badly. Yeah, because I thought he played quite well today, and the skipper there doing well. Let's take a look at the challenge. Oh, that's a shocker.
Yeah, he's off the ground. He's 2-footed. The referee is absolutely right.
City still leading Southampton by 3-1, but things are going to get more difficult for Southampton, not just in this game, but in future games as well, because their captain Pierre Højbjerg has just been sent off, a straight red card for the Danish midfielder who's gone clattering into Fernandinho, and it was a bad challenge as well. Looking at the replay, I think Højbjerg has very little argument to say that it wasn't a red. He went in hard on Fernandinho, and it's a straight red card, which now has made it very difficult for Southampton in these final stages, and they'll miss Højbjerg in future games as well. Southampton still trailing by 3-1.
I just don't know what it is about, what happened in his head there that made him do that. They're getting beaten up by a team, they're nowhere near him. You take your medicine and move on. He's going to miss 3 games. Like you said, they need him. They need him and Romeo to strong arm in the middle of the park, to defend their back 4 or back 3, whatever it is. Fernandinho goes off now and will be replaced by Kyle Walker, but he rode that challenge just as well, because it could have broken his leg, Anyway, he's all right, Fernandinho, that's the main thing. Why do that to a fellow professional football? I mean, the game's lost. He ain't going to win it by doing that. It's not like, I stopped them from nearly having an attack that might have got them a 4th goal. Well, what's all that about then? I don't understand it. Honestly, I don't. Anyway, here come City, left-hand side with Sané. And he flicks the ball to the flank. David Silva stands one up. Poor ball from Silva. And easy for the keeper, who comes out and claims it. So, Højbjerg was a usual suspect. Romeo hasn't picked up his usual yellow card today either. But Yeah, I'm still baffled about what Højbjerg did.
Yeah, it's a strange one. That he's got that in his locker. Don't forget, this is his second red card of the season, and we're only halfway through the season as well. So he is somebody who does get stuck in. But now Sane, the substitute, he's trying to get forward here for City. Just treads on the ball a little bit before being knocked off the ball. That was a decent challenge there. I think that was that Ward-Prowse that came in there. But the ball played now down the right-hand side out for a Man City throw.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, Man City and Guardiola looking a bit more comfortable now. The clock's running, time ticking, running out for Southampton. Looks like they've got what they want out of it, the Guardiola's team. And for the neutral, looking at the title chase, thinking, well, we want it as tight as we can. You know, it makes their next game against Liverpool all the more exciting. It could be a big turnaround there. You know, they'll get to within 4 points, like you said, with the victory, and if they could somehow win convincingly. And sometimes these games you think they're going to be tight or not. You know, if they can give them a thumping, then maybe go ahead on goal difference again. But that might swing one way and the other. I mean, that's almost as good as a point, I think, getting on top goal difference between those two teams if we expect it's going to be dead tight. And it probably is going to be. I think City have got a bit more strength in depth than Liverpool. I mean, I think if, say, Salah or Van Dijk gets injured, then there are massive holes at Liverpool. For City, I think it's more the team, really.
Fernandinho was missing in the last few games, and they missed him. I think that if Ederson got injured, of course, their goalkeeper cover isn't perhaps the best. But as you say, I mean, I think it's the same with any Premier League team. I think if you take 2 or 3 players out, then they would miss them. And I suppose Liverpool are really in the ascendancy now, but it's going to be a big test on Thursday night. Yeah,
I think Guardiola's a good coach, but I thought he made a bit of a mess of the Leicester game where he asked Delph to play left back and move on to the inside. He was asking him to do 2 jobs almost.
He was, yeah.
And in the end, he lost the plot, didn't he, when they were losing? But I think if he were just asking him to do the holding midfielder role, he could make a fist of it. I don't think he'd be as good as Fernandinho, but then there wouldn't be many, would there? Maybe N'Golo Kante. He was superb today for Chelsea. Anyway, we're closing in on the end of the game, but here Shane Long going to get goal side of Laporte. Is he? Laporte shoves him in the back. Should have been a free kick. He holds up the ball well. Then he dives a bit looking for it. He should have got the free kick before that.
It's ridiculous, Laporte. What is he trying to do there? He's already shoved Shane Long and got away with it. Then Long's played the ball away from it, and Laporte's taken him out, and he's going, I didn't touch him. Well, he blatantly did it. It's a stupid decision there from the French defender as he just tries to get in, and then it's just a little shove there on Shane Long. It's a gimme for Shane Long. He's used that because, of course, he's been pushed in the back. So silly there from Laporte, and a chance now for Southampton to potentially get a goal back as we hit injury time.
Yeah, make life interesting this if it goes in. Anyway, what can Ward-Prowse deliver from this right-hand side? It'll be the ball that swings back into his attacking line up the comp, but in the end, although Long gets something on it, can't control it, and that pretty much, I think, might be last chance saloon for them. There are chances few and far between today.
Yeah, and we're into injury time now, just 3 minutes of it as well, as this ball comes in from Ward-Prowse, and Long does find the space to get a header away, but it was never threatening the goal. It was a long way wide, and the Southampton fans trying to get a bit of a head start on the car park. They're making their way out. Yeah,
that's right. Well, they hung around for long enough, didn't they? It's not like they haven't tried today. There were a lot of industry. They weren't passive today, were they, Southampton? They tried to hold the shape, they tried to play properly, but in the end they were just overwhelmed by a better team, and sometimes that will happen. But I think it was good to see them try, not just do that sitting back deep defending malarkey where you don't ever create a chance, and as soon as you concede a goal you've had it. That's what Chelsea faced today, that sort of rear guard, but as soon as they'd scored on 50 minutes it was virtually the end of the game. Southampton tried to hold the shape, tried to induce the odd mistake, and they did, and took advantage, scored a goal, but it was by itself. Austin didn't have too many opportunities, apart from one he fluffed early doors. No left foot, has he? And I think for me, I quite like Charlie Austin. I always look at strikers and think you've got to be two-footed nowadays. I imagine Jermaine Defoe would have taken that on his left and at least got a shot on target. Austin tried to control it with his right, overcooked it, and lost his opportunity when he was one-on-one with the keeper. Here comes City again. Raheem Sterling driving into the box. Chance for a late goal here. The ball not quite good enough.
Yeah, he was looking for Jesus back in the box, but that's good covering from Ward-Prowse, tracking back into his own penalty area to get that ball away. Now Valeri tries to play an early ball down the right-hand side, but that one's been cut out, although the loose ball may still stay here with Elanusi and Long.
Yep, Shane Long's come on. He's done all right. He wins the odd free kick, doesn't he? Little turn by Elanusi, in and out of trouble. Then he straightens up, he's trying to get a shot on target. He runs into too many bodies. Jesus there back helping out. You know, that's it for City. We're seeing what they're going to be for the rest of the season. That's all hands to the pumps. They'll attack like a team and defend like a team. That's what they've done today. They've got the better of Southampton. Nothing's going to be granted or gifted to you in the Premier League. And Southampton have fought hard, but it's not going to be good enough. Company today just showing as well, chopping players down. It's like sometimes you need to do that, dig in. Danilo picking up a card. We saw Aguero dropping deep, almost playing the right back slot where he got his yellow card. We just saw Jesus chasing back inside his own half. They're showing that they want to be in the title hunt. They want to be contenders. Anyway, referee blows his whistle, and in the end, it's Southampton 1, Man City 3.